Then I can do this. Before I call the meeting to order, on behalf of the Cowichan Valley District, the Board of Education and district leadership, we extend our deepest condolences to the victims and their families, the Filipino community, and the neighborhood residents who were affected by the devastating incident at the April 28th Lapu-Lapu Day celebration. The district honored a moment of silence to honor the Lapu-Lapu Festival attack victims. Premier David Eby declared May 2nd an official day of remembrance and mourning for the victims. In respect, our flags were flown at half-mast across the school district to mark the tragic deaths that occurred as a result of the attack. We're thankful to our schools, sent letters to their families and staff regarding this terrible tragedy, and to share some strategies and resources to help students guide conversations with their children. The well-being of our students, staff, and family remains in our thoughts during this difficult time. We recognize that our students may require additional support and will continue to prioritize their mental health and well-being. If parents feel their children need additional support, they can reach out to their school or access community supports identified through their school letters. I officially call this meeting to order. Aitzquel, Siem Nasiea, Aitzqualuan, Kwanasilum Nala. I'd like to acknowledge that this meeting is taking place on the lands of the Hulkaminam speaking people, specifically the Kwamitsan village. The Board of Education is honored to be able to collaboratively walk beside the Cowichan, Malahat, Subasis, Halalt, Penelakut, Stamanis, and Liaxan peoples who have cared for this land for thousands of years. May we walk gently on the unceded territories of their lands as we work together to lift up all the Hahasmana. Motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Trustee Lise, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Thank you. Approval of the consent agenda, that the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley approves the consent agenda items on the open board meeting of May 6, 2025 as presented. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Thank you. Minutes of April 1st open board meeting, that the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley adopts the minutes of the April 1st, 2025 open board meeting, moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Thank you. Superintendent. Recognition and delegation.
Thank you. Through you, Chair, I would like to welcome and thank the delegation from Francis Kelsey Secondary School who were on a theater trip to London, England on March 2025, so March of this year. And I would like to introduce Vice Principal Colleen Mullen, who will introduce our guest today. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Kennedy, Finn, Will, and Charlie. They're amongst several students that had the great honor to travel to London for an incredible theatrical experience. And they have a wonderful PowerPoint for you to share some of that with you.
The floor is yours.
Good afternoon. Our London theater trip was one of several annual So every year we have an annual field trip to significant theater places, really. That's typically the West End or Broadway. Last year it was Broadway down in New York. This year it was the West End out in London. The process, as you might imagine, is somewhat arduous with several students and several adult chaperones. It requires about $5,000 per student for the trip and was planned through Open Doors Travel. We had to get several forms, of course, our passports and notarized consent forms from our parents, basically saying, hey, you're allowed to take our children out of the country. You are not doing it illegally. So that was very important. Heading out to the trip also required travel insurance. Well, not required.
Well,
it was highly recommended.
It came with the trip.
Oh, perfect. So the more important part than all that boring stuff was going on the trip. And would you guys like to discuss your experience? Because I was sleeping through most of it.
I was in a different section of the plane. I didn't sit near you.
Oh, well, I'll continue on then. So plane rides are kind of boring. You're cramped in a tight tube, hoping you don't crash into the ocean for most of the ride. Luckily, it was pretty smooth sailing. We did arrive quite jet-lagged, and that does not help when on the first night you go see a production of Hamlet.
Where everything is moving constantly.
Yes, the stage was actually quite interesting. It tilted up and down, and it was set on the Titanic, which was a very interesting design choice. We saw several shows, of course, Hamlet, and other such famous shows as Hamilton and Les Mis. Hamilton itself was quite an experience, though it was on a night where we got to decide between Hamilton and the Stranger Things musical. Plenty of us have already seen Hamilton. It's been out for quite a while, so quite a few decided to go see Stranger Things, but I decided, well, I've never seen Hamilton before, so on stage at least. So I'll go see it on stage, and it was quite an experience. The theaters there are quite grand, and you've got the 3 different tiers, and even though I was in one of the side seats, the view and music was incredible. And those of us who went to Stranger Things, Finn.
Well, you see, I don't like Hamilton, so I went to go see Stranger Things. It was excellent. It was what am I trying to say right now? Sorry.
It's very technical.
It was really technical because they had a lot of really excellent work projectors, which if they're not done right, they're terrible.
Their sets, the way they collapsed.
It was
But controlled
really,
collapse.
really well done production.
Yes, and of course there's The Devil Wears Prada, a show about a high fashion where you take a relatively normal girl and then you put her into high-end fashion and watch what happens. There's a lot of music about basically losing yourself to the fashion industry. The Play That Goes Wrong, a fantastic comedy where the play, believe it or not, goes wrong.
And the audience goes wrong too, because in the theater, the space between seats is very small, and I fell into another row.
Yes. Luckily, it wasn't during the show, just before it. And Hadestown was quite an incredible production as well. It was also quite technical. They had a stage that both rotated and went up and then all the way down into the floor, as well as live music played by actors on stage. Because the band also took part in some of the action, which was quite incredible. And Les Mis, I mean, it's been going on for 40 years. It's quite emotional.
Well,
For somebody who's never seen it
Lots of
before,
tears.
I did not expect that kid to, And The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, a fantastic musical, I've been
I
told
didn't see it.
by those who went to see it. Kenny, did you go see it? No. Well, none of us here went to go see it. It was one of the additional costs, and we were trying to stretch our somewhat limited budget. But plenty of us did go to see it, and apparently it was very, very, very sad. If anybody's ever... There's been a movie made about it, hasn't
Very
there?
good.
Yeah. Very good. Additionally, on top of all the shows, we didn't spend our entire time sitting in a hotel or hostel and just waiting for, oh boy, I hope this show starts soon. No, we went around, explored London, and saw many things, such as, again, some more pictures of the shows. These are the stages. But also, the Thames River Cruise. We go on a riverboat, get a little bit of information about every single bridge in London, including London Bridge and Tower Bridge, not to be confused.
Everybody seems to think the Tower Bridge is London Bridge, because London Bridge is a lot more boring.
Yes, and London Bridge actually has fallen down several times.
Well, the original London Bridge is in Arizona.
Yeah, that as well. And additionally, I learned something very interesting during the cruise. The clock tower is not called Big Ben. That is the bell. The tower is actually called Elizabeth Tower, after the Queen Elizabeth, of course. And we got the first one, yes, not the second one. Because when it was built, Queen Elizabeth II, I don't think it was even born yet.
Probably not. I don't know.
We also saw the House of the Parliament House. Don't remember exactly what they call it, but very majestic towers, as you can probably see there.
Yeah.
Additionally, the Tate Modern. Now, I'm not that much of an art guy, and especially modern art, but I'm pretty sure that you've got some opinions on this based on that reaction.
I have strong opinions on modern art, and I don't think I don't think I want to go on about that.
Anyways, point is, it was an interesting experience. What's great about many of these attractions is that, like, aside from scheduled cruises and stuff, most of them are actually free to the public. Just walk in and take a look. The Natural History Museum, the British Museum, and the Tate Modern, most of the stuff is by donation, so if you don't have a lot of money on you or no cash at all, you don't really have to pay for anything unless you want to buy, like, some items from the gift shop.
I mean, it makes sense that they're free, so you know you don't have to pay to see the stolen artifacts. So
In that specific
Yeah,
case,
The map of the Tate Modern was,
by donation, yes. They recommended £2 donation each because, of course, art galleries do not just pop up out of nowhere completely for free.
And no matter what your thoughts on modern art are, Tate Modern, huge place, there's something for everyone there.
There's so
Yes.
Oh yes, there were the traditional pieces, we don't have photos of them here, traditional modern pieces where it's just like a color and another color.
Yeah, wasn't there?
oh, there was
Wasn't
an
there?
entirely blue canvas.
Yeah, blue.
Yes, and then these are the more interesting ones. Yes,
there was
Not the
a
most.
there was a room full of rocks that had fruit on them.
yes. And Piccadilly Circus was one of our more popular locations. We walked through it several times, and transportation around London, of course, was mostly walking. We took the tube several times, as you have to do whenever you're in London, and the big red buses as well, though unfortunately we didn't go on a bus tour during the entire trip.
But almost every bus we went on, we were on the top.
That was fun.
It was very fun.
How many
Yeah.
times did you hit your head?
Many.
They're not exactly friendly to taller people. Yes, but Piccadilly Circus got a great fun statue in the middle there, and it connects to a lot of interesting places such as the Lego store and the M&M store. But that's more towards Oxford Circus, but they're quite close together.
I refuse to go to the Lego store.
Yes.
The M&M store.
Why? Because you spent like £300 on something?
The M&M
One of the biggest challenges actually was currency conversion, because at the time, I'm sure it's changed between then, it was about £0.50 to $1 Canadian. So basically, we looked at the prices, doubled them, and that's how much it cost in Canadian dollars.
It
So
was $1.85. Yeah.
I got robbed.
yeah.
I did.
Yes. He didn't get held up or anything. It was one of those typical tourist scams.
Yeah, it was.
It was an interesting experience. And Finn, I believe
Oh,
you
this is-
loved the food more than I did.
I think every single picture on this slide was actually taken by me.
No.
No, wait.
One of those was Anna.
That one's Anna.
Yep.
Because there's stuffy.
Yeah, that one was Anna, and then every other one was me. Okay. So for lunches, we would normally just go to like a big market, and there's a lot of like food stands there, and we would just pay, and you'd have to pay for that yourself. And then there would be group dinner in the evenings, and we would get breakfast at the hotel every morning.
Yes, a dinner was part of the original cost of the
Mhm.
trip. We
Lunches
got
were
it.
not.
We got reservations far out in advance, and we started planning the trip in the start of the school year because it's very, very big endeavor.
Before that.
Well,
It was announced in June, but we started the main planning in September. So that was mostly the summer break period to decide, am I willing to spend $5,000 on going to London? And obviously we said yes.
Yeah.
And the reason why we were told in June is actually because Ms. Roberts suggested that we should get a part-time job over the summer to help pay for that exorbitant price.
Well,
I spent $200 on Shake Shack.
Yes. And in that very same, that was Covent Garden, one of the more famous markets in London. It had a lot of it had some chain restaurants like Shake Shack and some smaller restaurants and food stands, but it also had some street performers, which many of us were very interested in seeing as we are doing performing arts ourselves. And it is a different kind of performing, of course, but also very familiar. They're playing the crowd, living off the reactions. The crowd doesn't throw money at us during our performances, unfortunately. That would be very nice.
Before they come in.
Well, we're not that kind of performer.
Anyways, the London Eye, the very big fun Ferris wheel. And that is the photo of the Parliament House and Elizabeth Tower with Big Ben inside from the top of the London Eye. And you can see quite far when you're at the top of that, as this
I'm
photo
sure if you
demonstrates.
like heights, it was amazing, but it was absolutely terrifying and horrible.
Yes.
Do not like heights.
Luckily, they had benches right in the center so you can sit down, but the pods are actually quite large. Probably about half the size of this room
Well,
here.
the entire group was in one pod.
Yeah, our
yes.
entire group of about 20-something people are in one pod. It
Mhm.
can transport a whole lot of
Middle of the
people in
table.
one. And during the loading process, or on the thing itself, I think Robert told us a fun factoid. People often propose at the top of the Tower of London. Sorry, not the Tower of London. Actually, maybe they do, but the London Eye specifically. Not the most romantic place, the Tower of London, now that I think about it, but at the top of the London Eye. And oftentimes, their significant other accept proposal. There have been some rejections, and
I think you said 6.
6, yes. And unfortunately, the entire London Eye takes about half an hour to go around. So at the very top, you got to sit there for about another 15 or so minutes with somebody who just rejected your proposal. So might be a bit awkward.
The way the pods inside the eye are built is actually really interesting. The way the sound travels. Because you can hear what one person's saying from the other side, like clearly from the other side of the pod. It's very weird.
Yeah, and the Ferris wheel, unless of course you need extra assistance boarding, does not stop when you're boarding on it. It goes rather slowly, so it's not like it's, okay, get on, go, go, go. But you have to not dilly-dally at the stations, and they have several loading lines for that specific reason. And coming home was sad, but also very happy, because some of us did not get a lot of good sleep in our accommodations. The first night, I should mention the accommodation actually, it was quite great. We had a nice little inn, 2 people to a room, nice and quiet. And then when we got into London, we were in a hostel. Now I'm not sure if many of you have been in one. They are quite small and a lot more bare bones. You're not exactly expected to sit in the room and use it as your primary, we're staying here for the trip place. It was, I don't know, about this corner of the room big, including the
It
washroom.
was 6 beds.
6?
Mine got 6 beds.
My
Ours
room
are
was
full.
6 bed.
Huh.
Yeah.
Our rooms were a little bigger.
Yeah. Anyways, so most of us were in bunk beds, and it's quite small, a little bit annoying. Luckily, the windows provided good enough ventilation.
Hey, I
And-
forgot there was no ventilation.
Yeah, and there were showers in the room, so that was nice.
Separate from the toilets, which were really cool.
Separate room.
Yeah. And coming home was great, though standing around in airport security, again on the way back, is a lot different on the London side, because coming out of Heathrow Airport, I'm sure some of you know it's a very secure airport, so they took a lot less silliness from us than out back in Canada. So, yeah.
Some of us were also very done with others and ready to be away.
Being around people who you see for like an hour and a half, maybe 2-3 hours at most a day on a regular basis,
Only 5 days.
and
a week.
staying with them pretty much all day, every day. And when you're walking a whole bunch, tends to wear people's nerves out. So if you're ever planning to go on a large school trip with many students, make sure you give them lots of breathing time, yes. One of the main issues of scheduling is that we didn't have that much free time. We had a few blocks where we could go around some of the local markets and chill out, but it was like an hour or 2 at most. And most of the time it was going to a production, coming back from production, sleeping, eating, or going to, we also had 2 classes at a performing arts center on stage combat and stage makeup. So we got to learn how to fake fight. I don't know why I put quotes in fake fight, that makes it sound like we're actually fighting. Anyways,
Well,
here is a photo collection. We've got the Clink Prison, which is apparently one of the first prisons, well, one of the more famous prisons, one of the first prisons in London. And it houses a whole bunch of famous people, from Protestants to other church reformers, some more religious prisoners. artists who said bad things about the monarchy, and mostly people said bad things about the monarchy and bad things about the church, now I think about it. A little bit of a theme there. Some rather dapper young fellows on the side there. They found a very fun suit store, and the same dapper young fellow wearing a dress.
I forgot that we have to have some
Yeah. It's fun. And that's the bottom middle there. That's a photo from the river cruise. On the bottom left is a Darth Vader actor and one of our very excited looking friends there. And
Everest looks so happy in every single one of these pictures.
I think he's just a very jolly person.
I think you should look at every other picture of Everest.
And then down here we've got some more photos, just generally traveling. I believe the top right one there is a sleeping in the
It's Stella
airport.
sleeping on the plane.
On the plane.
It's Stella sleeping
Yeah,
on the
that was
plane.
that was the 9-hour flight to London.
Yeah, the flight is quite long. Luckily, they have a great movie selection. I regret watching them though, because I was very tired on the way in.
We did have 7 people on that 2-person couch though.
Yeah, I did.
That was very successful. And then some photos of our parent chaperones. We've got Roberts and Naomi Roard, again, right outside Buckingham Palace. This is Myra Jean Marshall in the Tate Modern. She's the art teacher and very excited about art. And that is a tour of the Globe, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre. We got a discussion about the history of the place, some cool factoids,
It's not
and
exactly the globe. It's a recreation.
it's a recreation of it after it burnt down.
Yes.
Not in the Great Fire. Was it the Great Fire of London? I'm pretty sure it was the Great Fire of London. But it might have been a separate fire. A lot of things burnt down at that point. As well as us outside the Globe, looking somewhat unhappy because we walked quite a bit to get there.
Well, that's because one of you had to walk. Anyways.
Though we got to walk across the Millennium Bridge, which is not as wobbly as people say it was, probably because it is been shored up. And that brings us to the end of our presentation.
Trustees, first of all, let me tell you that trustees around this table have been approving student travel abroad for a long time now, and we have decided that every time we approve a travel abroad, that we want to learn about how that trip went. We do our jobs for you guys, and this is always a fun reminder about why we do what we do. So first of all, thank you for coming. Trustees, any questions for these great theater kids? Trustee Sousa and then Trustee Thorne.
Thank you. Well, you guys have certainly set the bar quite high for any coming presentation from any other school after this, or from any other trip. That was great. Thank you. And clearly, it was a trip that was very memorable for you guys. And yeah, I love the banter with you guys and the critiques of theater and I just love the interaction and. You guys did a great job, so thank you. Question around like how, in terms of the impact of this trip in your own lives, whether schooling, theater, what have you, do you have a sense at this point around how this is sort of impacted?
Well, it certainly opened my eyes, at least, to the world of professional theater outside of some of the more local shows. Like before then, I've seen shows by CCPA and some Vancouver theaters. But before I went on the trip, I didn't really have a sense of the big international scope of theater. But seeing big professional shows on stage really showed me, wow, there's people who do this. They make a lot of money, and they are very good and very enjoyable to see what they do. And like seats are constantly filled in these theaters because they're just so good at it all. And that's really showed me, like, I can go there. And as well, it also showed me that if you want to see good theater, you have to be willing to pay for it. But even then, the cost is definitely worth it.
That's great. Thank you guys.
Trustee Thorne?
Well, first of all, I'm glad you kids had fun. You brought home a lot of knowledge. That really impresses me. And I know that you represented our district well. But my only complaint is not once you who took pictures did not get the famous fish and chips.
We did get fish and chips, there was just no picture proof.
Well, on behalf of the board for coming and presenting to us today, we want to give you a small token. Thank you for sharing your theater experience with us, and I hope it did change your lives. And we're just really proud of you guys and all you did, and thank you for spending some time with us this evening. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're free to leave quickly.
Thank you. Have a good afternoon.
Bye.
That was wonderful. Sorry, we even have to go on now. That is a real drag
More
now.
stories, more banter.
Mr. Sandquist, report of the closed meeting, please.
Thank you. The board met in closed session prior to open, concluded all the business. There were personnel items, 2 tender awards, there were facility matters, and contract updates.
I found that very engaging. Well done. I have to follow, well done.
Thank you, Mr. Sandquist. Superintendent of Schools.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. Just a personnel update here. Principal, vice principal assignments 2025, 2026, and you'll see on page 35 of your board kit attached the list of assignments for principals, vice principals for next school year. Open to any questions, and I'll just note that these changes were communicated to schools and to district staff, as well as stakeholders and partners on April 24th and 28th. Thank you.
Moving on, 8.2.1. Oh, sorry, Trustee Kraft.
No, I just wanted to say that I know our principals and vice principals have some mobility in their lives, and that we just really appreciate that we have such a marvelous group of principals and vice principals who can step up at any time. So we really appreciate the work everybody does.
8.2.1.
Great, thank you. Next item then is North Cowichan Duncan RCMP School Liaison Program, and an update for the board that Staff Sergeant Steve Barrett has been starting up the RCMP School Liaison Program for the North Cowichan Duncan RCMP. The plan is to start in September with 1 to 3 members assigned to every school in the district, and so 1 to 2 members assigned to elementary and 2 to 3 for high schools. The program would involve a combination of informal visits to engage students and school leadership, and 1 to 2 formal presentations per year with patrols, traffic enforcement, school zones, as well as specific school requests. And as a district, we are excited to have this partnership with the RCMP and the benefits that it brings to our school community. So very good news there. Next item here is the Moose Hide Campaign Day, May 15th, 2025. And the Moose Hide Campaign is a movement of Indigenous and non-Indigenous men and boys working together to end gender-based violence. May 15th is the official campaign day, and grounded in the ceremony, it is grounded in ceremony and Indigenous values. The Moose Hide Campaign is a grassroots movement inviting Indigenous and non-Indigenous men and boys alongside all Canadians to stand up against violence towards women, children, and all those along the gender continuum. Wearing a moose hide pin is an outward sign of one's commitment to honor, respect, and protect the people in our lives and to stand up against violence. So we look forward to more activities throughout our district. Next item then is on page 36 of your board kit, 2024-2025 graduation and district year-end events. Again, this has been presented to the board previously, but any updates are noted here. Lake Cowichan School and Seavolk / Grove switch dates for the district scholarship presentations. Lake Cowichan presentations will be starting 30 minutes earlier at 12:30 p.m. and trustees have been advised of this revision. Lake Cowichan School District graduation ceremony will be held in the school gym. Ximena Secondary grad ceremony will be held in the school gym. Cowichan Secondary grad ceremony will be held and the Couch Community Center, and the open learning grad ceremonies will be held in the school gym.
The trustees, just a reminder, I sent out a couple of emails regarding grad events that you want to attend. Thank you, Trustee Lise, Trustee Croft, for letting me know what you're available for. Just a reminder, I need some emails back just so I can get that to Superintendent's Executive Assistant, please. Thank you.
Next item then, 2025-26 school fees and deposit schedule, and this is attached on page 37 of your board kit. So school fees and deposit schedule, and school district may charge fees for goods and services in accordance with the Ministerial Order 236/07 and Section 82 of the School Act. The district may also require refundable or partially refundable deposits for educational resource materials in accordance with Section 82 of the School Act. So this is there for your review and perusal, and I'll just see if there's any comments or questions.
Seeing none, moving on.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent's update. So just a few items here. Acknowledgements and appreciation. Thank you again to all those who were involved in the April 14th non-instructional day. The focus was on enhancing student learning and literacy and numeracy. May 1st was the School Principals Day, and as has been pointed out, the great work of school principals and vice principals, and this day recognizes the importance of principals and vice principals for the elementary and high school and the work that they do for the betterment of the school. Also would like to acknowledge and thank the United Steelworkers for the invitation to join their Pro-D, which I did virtually. I know Board Chair, you were also present on May 2nd, so I greatly appreciated that invitation. All school operations and transportation staff, like to also acknowledge all school and operations and transportation staff as they provided exceptional year-end activities that include year-end celebrations, field trips, and large-scale community events. So it's a lot happening at this time, and in order for those events to take place, we rely on the great service and support of those employees. So also congratulations to Lila Boulay, one of our school psychologists, for completing her doctorate in education psychology and leadership. And Lila has worked with the school district since 2011, so great work there. Another acknowledgement to Alternate Options and Indigenous Education for being awarded an Island Health Youth Resilience Grant of $50,000 to create learning opportunities for Indigenous youth, focusing on mental health, traditional food systems, science and culture, and priority learners who need re-engagement with school and high school credit recovery. Grade 11 and 12 have been chosen based on the indicators of success, so the red, yellow, green work. Information and data that has been collected, and also from the How Are We Doing report. So very important work happening there. So we're coming down to, again, the non-instructional day here. You'll see a poster for this event. As was mentioned, this year's non-instructional day sessions were facilitated by district staff. Elementary gathered in teams to focus on literacy and numeracy in the morning, and then the school framework for enhancing student learning in the afternoon. And secondary staff came together at Cowson Secondary School, where they had a morning keynote and school-based framework for enhancing student learning time, followed by an afternoon of department collaboration across schools. So I was able to be present at that event. Education Week, April 21st to 25th. It's a time to celebrate the hard work and achievements of students throughout British Columbia. This week also recognizes the dedication of the teachers, support staff, school administrators, trustees, and employees who make our education system one of the best in the world. So thank you to everybody for that. Next image here, National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirited People. also known as Red Dress Day, which was yesterday. And so you see the image here. This was reported at the last board meeting, and our INED department shared some Red Dress Day resources with schools. Schools also were provided with a Coast Salish Red Dress image and 2 blank outlines that can be colored, and also, again, the photo from the students at Coal Cobble Hill. So, thank
May
you
I also
for,
say
for
that, Superintendent, that at Shemana Secondary yesterday, while I was out there for district scholarship, all the staff were wearing beautiful t-shirts with the red dress on the front, so I was really impressed when I walked at Shemana Secondary and I saw that very much acknowledged.
Yeah. Thank you. Next item here is May 5th to the 9th. So during this week, 2025, is the Canadian Mental Health Association Mental Health Week. I know that Assistant Superintendent Olson was at a conference workshop yesterday pertaining to mental health, and I believe we had other staff members that were there yesterday and today. And this week's mental health theme is Unmasking Mental Health, and the Health and Wellness Manager is sending out information from the Canadian Mental Health Association to district staff. Very important work there as well. District-wide Made Movement Challenge. So the school district Made Movement Challenge is underway again this year. All staff are invited and encouraged to participate in this fun challenge. Started on May 1st and will run through the 31st of May. Major components is tracking how much activity is done in 10-minute intervals. Movement can include anything to get your heart rate up, such as a brisk walk, running, and hiking. So thank you for that, and certainly fantastic weather to be outside enjoying health movement. So next item here is the Shiamkai recognition. Nominations for the 2nd annual Cowichan Valley School District Shiamkai recognition program can be submitted through an online form from May 1st through June 15th. And we will celebrate these successful nominations in September of next school year. An email with a poster and details for the nomination process has been sent out by the Human Resources Health and Wellness Manager, and staff are encouraged to participate and help make this a positive impact on our students and communities. So thank you for this work. Next item is tied into transportation registration. So May is Transportation Registration Month. Information has been sent to parents and is available on the school district website under transportation regarding our annual registration process. And as per Administrative Procedure 5601-1, a parent wishing for a new or changed bus service for their student for the subsequent school year must apply annually by May 31st. So I'll leave that. Again, important work in terms of helping our students get to and from school safely. So thank you for that. Next item does have a photo tied in with Skills Canada Provincials. 4 of the competitors representing the school district placed in the medals at the Skills Canada Provincials skills competition on April 16th in Abbotsford. Luke Banks from Cowichan Secondary received bronze in automotive. Will Baker, Christopher Tuber, Yisheng Liu from Francis Kelsey Secondary received bronze in robotics. And note that Christopher Tuber is one of our international students from Germany. So congratulations to those students, and well done on representing our school district. Next item here ties in with chess tournament. Again, Catalyst update and the district chess tournament results on April 10th. 110 students from 16 different schools from grade 2 through 12 participated in the district chess tournament at George Bonner Elementary School. Students played multiple rounds, made lots of new friends while they honed their skills, and many volunteers from the community as well as teacher leaders helped to make this day a huge success. The results then in the primary, grade 2 and 3, start with bronze. Multiple schools here, so Bench, Coal Cobble Hill, and George Bonner. Silver went to Discovery, and gold went to Bench Elementary. Grade 4, George Bonner cleaned up here, bronze, silver, and gold, so congratulations to them. Grade 5s, starting with bronze, Chemainus Elementary, George Bonner came in the middle here with silver, and Chemainus Elementary took the gold in grade 5. Grade 6, bronze was shared twice, double participants there from Alex Aiken, silver for George Bonner, and gold to Echo Cobble Hill, Discovery, and Discovery also took two golds there. Grade 7, bronze to Drinkwater, silver to Discovery, and gold to Drinkwater. And at the high school level, silver was shared between Kelsey, Quamachin, and Kelsey again, and the gold went to Kelsey, Francis Kelsey, so congratulations to them. Young Authors Conference, photos here on the screen. On May 1st, so last week, we had 87 students from 22 schools participating in the Young Authors Conference at the Vancouver Island University, Cowichan campus, and Cowichan Secondary School. This conference, which is held every 2 years, provides students with the opportunity to attend writing sessions with local published authors, as well as to hear authors read from their works. Sharing some photos from the authors session with students at VIU. Good. And as we're going through that, the next item here also contains a poster. It's early learning update and the kindergarten swim. Kindergarten swim dates have been confirmed, and we're sharing a poster with the dates. May 15th, 1 to 2 p.m., May 20th, 1 to 2 p.m., May 27th, 1 to 2 p.m., and you can see that schools are spread out between the 3 dates there. So, the idea of the kindergarten swim is to support kindergarten families in getting to know one another and to connect them with their community spaces. Resources also were provided to families regarding support. So another great event there. The next event, short little YouTube video here. It's the BC Blind School Sports Day, and the video is displayed by the BC Blind School Sports and Recreation Sports Day, scheduled for May 14th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Evans Ballfield on Somenos Road. And students will be playing beep ball and other activities. So we'll just briefly display the video here for you.
We're untested,
Yes.
so
Untested.
Anything can happen.
Be ready for it. It's a good one.
I don't know if I have sound. Would have sound. Oh, there is a script.
And that's at Evansfield?
It'll be held at Evansfield, yeah. Yeah, I think a couple of things, obviously, just adapting the game for inclusion and the enjoyment of all, I think is really important. And, I guess what caught my eye was, running through first base there, not just stepping on the base, but actually running through and tagging the base, so making the game accessible. So very important, and thank you for that. A Cole Caldwell Hill, so photos coming up here. A Cole Caldwell Hill and Mount Provo, and please pardon my French here, but concours de art oratoire. And so this event is recently held. The annual French speaking arts competition was held on Friday, April 11th. And École Mount Provo hosted the competition for students from grades 5 through 7. They had 13 students in grade 5 through 7 deliver a 3 to 5 minute speech by memory in front of their peers and judges. Finalists moved on to the provincial competition held on Saturday, May 3rd at SFU campus in Surrey. So congratulations to those students. Also, next photo here is Spirit Week in Cole Caldwell Hill. So staff secret Spirit Week and concert. At Cole Caldwell Hill, staff participated in a secret Spirit Week of their own. Each day was a different day or theme that was held, and the event started the first week back from spring break. And when visiting the school on the morning of Tuesday, April the 1st, the theme was to wear a pair of non-matching shoes. And I know being in some of those classrooms that it took a long time for kids to catch on, or they caught on but didn't want to be disrespectful by pointing out to the teacher or staff member that they wore the wrong shoes. Yeah, it was good.
That's brilliant.
Looking at me, what did
No, I can see your shoes. They look great. A Cole Caldwell Hill held a spring musical concert at the school on April 30th and May 1st, and the musical called Beyond the Jungle was written and directed by their music teacher, Cicely Domi. Maple Bay Elementary, should be photos here. Maple Bay Elementary hosted its first annual Maple Bay's Got Talent event, where they were able to showcase a variety of talents from singing to dancing to piano to acting. They're very proud of their students, and school and staff and families love the chance to cheer them on. So again, great school spirit there. Next up is Francis Kelsey. We have some photos here. Francis Kelsey Secondary has shared photos and Facebook posts from recent happenings. The first one is Textiles 9 and Horticultural class. Textiles 9 and horticultural class had Ingrid Mertens in as a guest teacher and learned to weave with invasive species Scotch broom. And thanks to Heather Kay and Makiko Johnson for helping students educate, for helping to educate our students how to make something useful of something that's invasive. Second image here is Winter Activity Day. February 13th was Francis Kelsey's Winter Activity Day. Skiing, climbing, swimming, bowling, or swim bowling, Science World, and many other activities were happening. Thanks to all the staff who made these trips possible, and sometimes the first time for students have the opportunity to do an activity or travel off the island. So special shout out to Ms. Simmons, Ms. Huck, and Ms. Roach, who shouldered most of the planning for this day this year and in the past. And the third photo is rock band. Guitar teacher Allard Ludwig said it was a packed audience, most they'd ever had. The great night for the talent on stage, and it felt like a strong final show. So much happening on the stage, but they are only, we're only at midpoint and looking forward to the next performance. Congratulations to them as well. As we heard at the London trip, and we saw some photos here, students from Francis Kelsey saw Les Miserables from the top balcony in Hamlet at the Royal Shakespeare in Stratford. So a great presentation on that. So thank you to those students that came in today. Robotics competition, congratulations to 3 teams from Francis Kelsey who competed in the Regional Skills Canada tournament for secondary robotics. So we have a 2nd place finisher, 1st place finisher, 3rd place finishers, and all of the teams played well, fought hard in the final standings. Teams preserved or persevered through robots breaking down, needing quick fixes between matches, and in the end, Will Baker and Christopher Tuber placed 1st after a very close last match. Thank you to Ms. Hoffman for the hard work to get these our teams ready for the challenge. So great work there. And also next photo here, students from Francis Kelsey in Banfield, and students had a chance to explore marine biology live at the Banfield Marine Station. Great. Cowichan Secondary has some highlights here. So the Kamokic Foundation Scholarship, QQS Theater and Basketball. A basketball team of students made up primarily of Cowichan Nation youth traveled to Saanich and hosted a home game here at Cowichan Secondary, coached by Peter Antoine, QSS teacher, and co-coaches Norm Thorne. Sawaton from QSS and Brittany Williams, QSS DA. This is a unique opportunity that has grown over the past 2 years through the sharing of culture and sport between local and nearby nations. Cowichan Secondary students also won the Foundation Scholarship. Every year they are awarded 20 scholarships. Each one is a maximum of $50,000 paid over 5 years of study. The students graduating from BC high schools scholarship recipients have faced adversity, but have responded with positivity and tenacity, achieving academic and social goals with hard work and support, and their post-secondary dreams can become a reality. So congratulations to, if I'm pronouncing the name correctly, Hans Eligino. So congratulations to this student. Cowichan Secondary Theater has been warmed with its first 2 shows at a recent Family and Friends event with about 75 audience members each. 2 shows were very successful and the start of great things to come on stage at Cowichan Secondary School. A few reminders here. Upcoming is an out-of-country trip previously approved by the board. Francis Kelsey Secondary School dance trip to Los Angeles and Disneyland, USA, May 22nd to the 26th, 2025. And I'm just going to thank Assistant Superintendent Olson for working with Francis Kelsey administration team in ensuring that we have provisions in place to support these students and making sure they get to and from their destination safely. So, administrative procedure update. There's 2 revised APs coming forward. First one is AP 255, Animals in Schools. This AP was updated to specify the conditions under which animals are permitted in schools, including a detailed description of assistance dogs, as well as the required steps for obtaining approval to bring animals onto district property. And the second one is Administrative Procedure 513, travel expenses and reimbursements. The AP was updated to allow for variances from the per diem allowances with approval from the district leadership team and trustees. Next item here is the BC School Superintendents Association Spring Forum, which was held April 10th to the 11th in Vancouver. I was able to attend this event, and it was held in Richmond, on April 10th to 11th. This year's theme, Leading System Transformation, moving from strategy to impact, acknowledge both the complexity and the opportunity of district leadership. The BC School Trustees Association AGM was held April 24th to 25th in Vancouver. And I attended along with trustees and the Secretary Treasurer, keynote on Communicate, Educate, and Engage by Lauren Sergi. And as a group, we attended the following 4 sessions: Indigenous Education, Student Success, Communication and Community Engagement, and Data and Evidence. And I thought it was a great AGM as well. So thank you for the invitation for that. All superintendents meeting held on May 2nd in Vancouver. So I was able to attend this event with the Ministry of Education and Childcare. And we have upcoming here for the BC School Superintendents Association, the Island Chapter meeting on May 15th and 16th in Courtney Comox. And looking forward to that event. June, just a reminder here that June is Pride Month. And as we're joining Cowichan Valley School District at the Cowichan Walk and Festival Pride Parade on Sunday, June 22nd at 11 a.m. And we will have flags in the banner to walk behind. Looking forward to that. And also BC Child and Youth in Care Week and nominations for recognition awards. The 15th annual BC Child and Youth in Care Week will take place June 2nd through the 8th, 2025, proclaimed by the province of British Columbia in 2011. BC Child and Youth in Care Week is a time for everyone in communities across the province to support and celebrate the province's incredible, diverse young people in government care. Youth envisioned a week that acknowledges and celebrates the unique strength of young people in care and how BC Child and Youth in Care Week was created. Recognition awards celebrate the amazing achievements of children and youth in care from across the province, and nominations are open through, they close, I guess, on January 25th, when children and youth in or from government care ages 6 to 28 years old could be nominated for a recognition award. So we're looking forward to that. Just a reminder in your board kit here of school visits and check-ins. You'll see a list here. Thank you to Trustee Croft, who attended with me on Thetis Island Elementary School last week. It was a great visit, great opportunity to get into schools and to be part of just what's happening in terms of learning across the district. So grateful for that opportunity. Also, the opportunity this week to attend district scholarship presentations. So Assistant Superintendent Rowan and Board Chair Schmidt and Trustee Lise, my apologies, were able to attend Seavolk and the Grove, Shemena Secondary and Cowichan Secondary so far. I believe that we have Francis Kelsey coming up
Tomorrow morning.
And heading out to the lake as well. So yeah, more to come. Fantastic turnout from students so far. So I want to put that in there. For board action, Pride flag. So again, presenting a motion for the Pride flag to be flown at the school board office during the month of June, which is Pride Month. And I'll see if you would like to bring that motion forward.
So trustees, this is just we just reaffirm every year that we support Pride, and so that's why this motion comes to our table every year instead of it just rolling over and becoming practice. We just want to make sure that it's a good reminder that we still are, this is where we still stand. So, with that said, the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley, requests that the Pride flag again be flown at the school board office from May 31st, 2025, and to end on June 2025 to symbolize its support in diversity and inclusion. Moved by everybody's hands went up at the same time. Moved by Trustee Croft, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you, trustees.
Thank you. Last item here is the update on the Indigenous Education Council, and just providing update on the meetings. So far, the Indigenous Education Council has held 2 meetings. At the April 9th meeting, 5 of 7 nations were represented. The Six Nation has a representative, but they have not been able to attend the meetings thus far. The IEC, as a council, have selected Terry Allen from the Cowichan Tribes as the chair, and Fred Wilson from the Malahat Nation as the vice chair. Claire Spencer, our very own, from the school district, will be the IEC secretariat for the time being, and the next meeting is being scheduled for May 14th. And Chair, I thank you very much.
Thank you for that very thorough report, Superintendent.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you. The first item here is the renaming, the rebranding of what was formerly the Highway 1 North Cowichan Overpass project. It's now being talked about as the Highway 1 North Cowichan Median Fencing Project by the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. They're still looking to obtain funding to do the overpass, but in the meantime, we're looking at installing a pedestrian barrier fence mid-block on Highway 1 to prevent the crossing of students or other members of the Cowichan community from running across the highway. This will drive individuals up to the two intersections, one at James Street and one at Beverly, where the intention is to change the signal timing and the signal heads to accommodate the anticipated increase in pedestrian traffic at those intersections. The media will be finished based on discussions with the municipality of North Cowichan, and they hope to begin those conversations shortly. And it is expected that it will be tendered and this summer and with winter 2025 construction. So there still is hope for the overpass. It was always intended to also have the median, but the overpass was the mechanism over the median.
So trustees, in conversations with senior management team, we had wondered if it might be a little more dangerous for our students with the fence there. The fence was going to be put there to force them to use the overpass.
You're ready, sorry.
And so we are wondering if maybe we should investigate this a little bit further as a district to make sure that we're not putting lives in jeopardy by supporting a fence being built without having, we are concerned that the kids will still try to get across the highway and climb the fence. And we always supported the fence when it came with an overpass, but that there is concern that the fence may cause problems, so we would like to investigate this further. However, we felt that this needed to come to the board for some direction as to whether you wanted us to look at this further to make sure that kids are safe. North Cowichan is aware that we're having this conversation this evening. I see your hand, Trustee Croft.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
North Cowichan is aware that we're going to have this conversation tonight because, of course, they're having the conversation at their table too. So they're waiting to hear how we feel about the fence before they make their final decision. So, so what is the wish of the board as far as asking North Cowichan to hold off? Do we want to do some investigation as to whether this is a good idea? Should we be talking to our students to make sure that our students are aware this is going to happen? Are they going to go around, or are they going to risk their lives and get stuck in a fence? So we need to really seriously have this conversation. So Trustee Croft.
I'd like to make a motion that senior staff investigate those matters that you have discussed. In particular, ask the Ministry of Transportation as to their rationale and evidence and efficacy of installing fences. And my thought on that is...
Do you want to wait and get a seconder first before you have discussion?
Yeah.
Seconder is just Trustee Thorne? Okay, go ahead, Trustee Croft.
Well, my rationale is that I know every community is different, but I know there's lots of communities that have used these devices on, but this is our first one, and I think not only the board, but the community should have the opportunity to feel a little more educated on what we're doing here.
Trustee Sousa?
Yeah, I guess I'm just, definitely interested in further investigation. How high are the fences that we're talking about? How easy might they be to climb? Questions like that. It's kind of a bit vague at the moment. And I think it would be good for us to sort of, before North Cowichan, that we make our own determination then in that. But to have some kind of back and forth with North Cowichan as well. I'm curious to see where they go with this.
And Trustee Croft, would you mind if we tagged onto the body of your motion that we will notify North Cowichan that we're going to investigate this?
I have another tag as well. Yes, I completely agree with
Thank
that. I also wonder about inviting the ministry to present as well to the board.
Do we make that a separate motion? That's
Whatever works, yeah.
any other conversations on the motion that's on the table? So trustee Doma, trustee Thorne, trustee Sousa.
What's the fence made out of? When they presented last time, I believe it was a solid fence, but how high is it?
It was a chain link fence,
Okay.
and it was 6 feet. Trustee Thorne?
I've been a firm believer since day one that student safety had to be priority. And if I was a teenager, I'd want to climb that fence just because.
That was our concern too, because, yes, that was just our concern too. Trustee Sousa?
Yeah, in terms of contacting the ministry, just making sure and to clarifying that it's MOT, it's not Ministry of Education, right? It's
Correct.
It was
Correct.
tasked with this, yeah.
Any other conversation on the motion for further investigation and that we notify North Cowichan that we're actually going to be doing this work so that they don't rush forward on passing this fence? Seeing no other conversation, all those in favor? Thank you, folks. And I believe Trustee Cross, you had a follow-up motion that maybe we have some kind of a conversation or presentation with the Ministry of Transportation and Highways.
Yeah.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? Trustee Thorne, do I have any conversation on that? Hearing none, all those in favor? Thank you, folks. Mr. Sandquist. I'm sorry. Thank you. Sorry, Superintendent and I did 55 to 6 scholarships today. I'm a little tired.
Thank you. Had to catch up writing the motion. The next item on the agenda is the annual facilities grant submission. It is in your package. We did attempt to bring this to the VEBC, but unfortunately it didn't copy correctly into the agenda. So it is sorted by location and by project, and this is to distribute $2,662,840,000 worth of AFG funds. It does balance. There's one of those projects that is not an even number that will show up somewhere. Actually looks like it's 25,340 for the courtyard canopy at Chemina Secondary. That's where the rounding piece falls. So it's here. If there are any questions in relation to any of these projects, I guess it's very difficult to see for our audience in that small print, but it is a really small print.
Trustee, any questions? Seeing none, I have a motion before us that the Board of Education, School District 79, Cowichan Valley approves the 2025-2026 Annual Facilities Grant Plan as presented. Moved by Trustee Lise. Seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you, folks. Annual bylaw budget, Mr. Sandquist.
Thank you. In the agenda package, and you see on the screen there, we have provided a guided tour of the 2025-2026 annual budget, and it's designed to provide the reader of the budget bylaw document with a better understanding of the year-over-year changes. So it compares the annual budget that is before the board for adoption with the amended budget that was adopted at the end of either February or early March. So we encourage all to read this document for a better understanding of the changes that have been implemented. So it's in the package, and I'm not going to walk through it. We had it at VEBC, but it's here for the public record.
Okay, trustees, we do have a bylaw in front of us.
A little more to say. Sorry, Mr. Sandquist. Sorry, thank you. Sorry, Chair, to interrupt you.
No worries.
Before the board considers the 2025-2026 annual budget adoption motions, I'd like to make a few acknowledgements. Firstly, I'd like to thank the school district's budget team. The 24-25 amended annual grant from the Ministry of Education and Childcare was significantly delayed from its usual announcement in December, and that was because we had a provincial election. And that meant that basically the time between the amended annual budget and preparing for the March 13th announcement was significantly shortened. March 13th is when the funding was arrived for the 25-26. So I extend my appreciation to Claudia Carey, Naomi, and Claire, who worked with us through that shortened timeline to be ready to start again. I'm also wanting to thank my colleagues on the district leadership team for their support and suggestions as we work through the challenges and a pathway to balance the budget. Thank you. And thank you to the board for your commitment. You ensured that partners and public voices were heard and went through a lengthy and transparent process. You began on January 9th when you met with DSAC and had a budget discussion and started to hear the student voice on what was important. Then on January 28th, the BEBC established the 25-26 budget guiding principles, and those were adopted by the board on February 4th. We referred to them every time we met through this process. On February 7th, the board issued an online survey to collect feedback. And during the week of February 11th, the board met with all of the partners. So if Carmen hadn't left, I would have said, thank you, Carmen, for your DPAC contribution. Thank you, Vicki, for coming and presenting on behalf of the USW. Thank you, Aaron, you represented the CVTF. Thank you, Adam, you came for CUPE. Now, Sandra and Colleen, you weren't here, but your colleagues were, so thank you to the CVPVPA. Then on February 18th, you went to the advisory committee and you asked for feedback on your budget assumptions. And then later that evening, there was a public budget consultation meeting and people attended. On February 21st, we closed the online survey and you reviewed that on February 25th when you also reviewed the assumptions that were going to be used to build this budget. Then there was a pause in the budget cycle. The funding was announced on March 13th, spring break came, and closure week came, and that was later than usual, which meant that compressed your budget discussion period. You started on April 1st. Usually you come back to a BEBC meeting in March. And at that meeting, we reviewed the annual grant estimate and the opening budget position, and you began to look at the demographics and updated future enrollment projections. Then on April 8th, you had a special BEBC meeting, and you began to explore options for a balanced budget, and you looked at the two primary special purpose funds, Costume Enhancement Fund and Community Link. Plus a multi-year projection was reviewed by the board. I'm coming to the end. You've been busy. I'm just trying to show you how much time you spent on this budget before you consider it. On April 15th, you went back to the advisory committee after having some options available to balance the budget, and you asked for further feedback, and you received some at that meeting. And then on April 22nd, you began to align all those options to Beyond Education Strategic Plan 25-26. You reviewed the projected surplus and the restricted and local capital balances, and at the end of that meeting is where the recommendation came to the Board of Education for adoption of the budget as it had been presented. So you've been extremely busy. Throughout this process, you've used Beyond Education Strategic Plan 25-30, the budget guiding principles, and Administrative Procedure 4.1.12, periods of diminishing resources to guide your considerations. One more bullet. The 25-26 annual budget is a consolidation of the operating, special purpose, and capital budgets, and it totals $132,784,738,000. For a fun fact, when you were elected in November of 2022, the annual budget was $111,845,469. So in your term as a board, in just a little under 3 years, it has increased by 18.7% or $21 million. The motions to adopt the budget are included in the agenda. Thank you for the time to read my introduction.
First of all, thank you to yourself, district leadership team, finance department. Just thank you for putting together such a thoughtful budget. And thank you for thoroughly walking the board through this. I think that we all understood budget and we all understood the decisions we were making. And I think that you taking that time with us up front was really important. And so I just want to say thank you to you and your team and senior management for putting together such a thoughtful budget. Thank you. Trustee Croft?
I just wanted to express thanks to our partners, our educational partners, and I think everyone came just so prepared, having consulted widely with the folks that you represent, and it makes the board feels confident that we hear voices and that they're really beautifully represented and beautifully expressed, and we're very grateful for that. And I just like to say, I think it's part of being special in Cowichan is that all these different groups with different concerns, and sometimes our relationships go up and down, and yet when it really counts, we come together and make good decisions and share good information. And I also like to express thanks to the people who actually came to the in-person budget meeting. We had a really great turnout. It may seem modest in numbers, but it was small and mighty. And I just really appreciated those voices and the opportunity the board and staff took to expand a little bit. We didn't just talk about budget, we took the opportunity to talk about other things. So this really is a maiden Cowichan budget with a lot of good hearts and good minds. And I'm grateful.
Okay, are you ready for the budget bylaws? Here we go. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley give first reading to the 2025-26 amended annual budget bylaw in the amount of $132,784,738. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Dolman. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley give second reading to the 2025-2026 annual budget bylaw in the amount of $132,784,738. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Lisi. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education School District 79, Cowichan Valley considers giving 3 readings to the 2025-2026 amended annual budget bylaw in the amount of $132,784,738 at this meeting. Moved by Trustee Croft, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley gives third and final reading to the 2025-2026 amended annual budget bylaw in the amount of $132,784,738. By Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Trustees, that was a lot of work, and I just thank you for all your input and just how well you did budget this year. I sat at the board chairs meeting and I talked about us, and I talked about how well we all worked together on this budget and the path that we took. And a lot of people are looking at our model of starting in January, which really this board is the only board that's ever done it, because Mr. Sandquist and I had that conversation when we first came into play. And they're now looking at that it does make staffing easier when you do budget earlier, and they definitely are looking at the Cowichan model. So I just want to thank you guys for rolling up your sleeves and making the hard choices. So thank you. All right, moving on. Indigenous Education Council meeting update.
Through you, Chair. I'll say that the next meeting again is May 14th. An update was provided in the superintendent's report.
Thank you. Committees and outside organizations. Sorry, I need something for this one. We have a whole bunch of motions coming out of meetings. So our first one comes out of BEBC, that the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 fees for Performing Arts Academy at Cowichan Open Learning to be set at $4,500 per year. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 Francis Kelsey Secondary School Trails Academy fees to be set at no cost to students. Trustee Lisi, seconded by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 Francis Kelsey School Fine Arts Academy fees to be set at no cost to students. Moved by Trustee Dolman, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 fees for Cowichan Secondary Rugby Academy to be set at $6,050 per year for local and Canadian students and $15,000 for international students per year. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Dolman. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 fees for Francis Kelsey Secondary Ice Hockey Academy to be set at $1,565 per year. Moved by Trustee Dolman, seconded by Trustee Sousa. All those in favor? Thank you. That the Board of Education of School District 79, Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 fees for Francis Kelsey Secondary Equestrian Academy to be set at $3,300 per year. Moved by Trustee Croft, seconded by Trustee Thorne. All those in favor? Thank you. Last one, that the Board of Education of School District 79 Cowichan Valley authorizes the 2025-2026 fees for the Francis Kelsey Secondary Soccer Academy to be set at $350 per year. Moved by Trustee Doma, seconded by Trustee Lise. All those in favor? Thank you. Upcoming meetings and events, folks, make sure you get a good look at the schedule. And we have 2 more opportunities for district scholarships if trustees can come. So tomorrow we're at Francis Kelsey at 9 o'clock, maybe a little bit later because I have to drop off at school first. And then we also have Lake Cowichan Secondary at 12:30 on Thursday. So if you're looking at seeing how incredibly awesome our students are in the Cowichan Valley School District, please come out and take a look because the kids are truly amazing. Any changes or anything missed on that upcoming schedules that you can see, trustees? Trustee Cross at DSAC. Okay, well, hearing nothing, then no correspondence, no new business. Mr. Sandquist, question period. Do we have any questions from online?
We have not had anybody attend online for this meeting, so the questions would come from the gallery.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Sandquist. Do I have any questions from the gallery? I love the smile that goes all the way down. Hearing no questions, motion to adjourn. Moved by Trustee Sousa, seconded by Trustee Lise. All those in favor? Thank you and welcome back, Trustee Doman.